Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is Tara with Tara's Tuesday Talk, wrapping up May Foster Care Awareness Month here today. And I just want to start out with saying thank you. A lot of you did the 5K and participated. We reached our goal of $5,000 for this month, and I just appreciate everybody just jumping in and being a part. And we talked a lot this month about what foster care is not. You can go back through our social media and see a lot of that conversation, listen to the rest of this month's Tuesday Talks. But today, I want to talk about what foster care is and leave us with that message. So foster care, I want to talk about is three things. Foster care is beautiful, foster care is making an impact, and foster care is for everyone. So wait with me for that last one, I will explain. But to start us off, foster care is beautiful. We talked a little bit about all the different stories around foster care, all the different things we hear in media and movies, and then hopefully from local folks that are really living it. And we hear some of those for real everyday stories. And foster care is beautiful. It is beautiful for someone, for a family to choose to open their home to a child that is in need, to take in a kid like this, to feed, to give them drink, to give them shelter, to give them love, the Lord says is like doing it to Him. And so I really believe that's such a beautiful thing each and every time a family chooses to open their doors. It's not always easy, and it's not always a happy ending, but it's always beautiful. And so I just want to thank those foster families out there today that have chosen to do that, and thank those other families and friends that have wrapped around them, the churches that have loved them, organizations that have supported them to make it possible for them to do that, because it's a beautiful thing to extend that love to a child in need at that moment and of their life. And so foster care is beautiful, despite negatives that we will hear, difficulties that come with it. It's a beautiful thing. And just so grateful to have a space in it, in our big world, to see foster care globally, changing kids' lives and impacting them, because foster care is impactful. Again, we may hear negative things, and we know there's so much better, biological family can be better, adoption can be better, kids waiting it out in foster care forever is not great, being bounced around from home to home is not great. We shared a little bit how that doesn't happen here in Honduras, and the why behind that, but we do know it does happen. And so, but foster care is still impactful. We have to go back, if we're having a perspective from the US, it's have to go back to right after or before World War II, when we used large institutions and kids were packed in buildings and without a lot of one-on-one care, one-on-one love that comes from growing up in a family or a family environment. And so it was so negative, we quit using it, or it was so harmful to children's development, we quit using it right after World War II. Well, that's not happening in countries all over the world. Orphanages is still the number one solution for orphan care. Even here in Honduras, it's the number one. It's the place that when the welfare office gets a child, they send the kid to an orphanage, unless there just happens to be a foster family in that region with an organization growing foster care. But it's still very minute, and it's still the number one solution, and that we're trying to change that here in Honduras. That's changed in the States, but it hasn't changed in these other countries. And you have to remember what they came from. So even though foster care isn't perfect, it has a lot of issues. Think of where the kids would be going, U.S. side. They would be going to those large institutions. They wouldn't be going to those families, even if it's not the ideal family. Here in Honduras, same. Foster care is so impactful. It literally saves a child from losing 3 months of development for every month they're in an orphanage. That's a statistic. That's a global statistic. A child loses 3 months of development for every month they're in an orphanage. And that's, scientific research statistic that has been proven, that globally, the impact of using orphanages for the solution for vulnerable children. And so saving the child from that, allowing them to grow, develop, accurate brain development, all of those things, create healthy attachments. And all of that really is changing the trajectory of this child's future. And so even if it takes them a while to get to permanency, which we always pray it's as quickly as possible, even if there is some more trauma added to their story, it's nothing of what it would be if they had to step foot in an orphanage. And because of you here in Honduras, up to date 75 kids have not had to step foot in an orphanage just through your work with Identity Mission alone. And there's other organizations starting to do foster care as well. So that number is going to rise of the amount of children that did not have to step foot in an orphanage. And so foster care is impactful. And it's not just impactful for the child, it's impactful for the family, for the community, as they rally together around helping these children and the why. Why do we take care of the kids in our community? Why don't we just leave them, as the responsibility of the government? And so for me, I believe our third, what foster care is foster care is for everyone, because it also impacts our lives as we reach out to these kids. We see the miracle that God does in them, helps them get through that trauma, helps them find their identity in Christ and in who they are, so that they can be productive, healthy, happy adults. And so foster care is everyone. It's for everyone. Everybody has a part to play in that, whether you're the psychologist helping the child through that, or whether you're the local church supporting the family and giving that child some mentorship. Whatever our part is, whether you might just be financially supporting the growth of foster care here in Honduras, that's a piece that without that financial donation, we couldn't be doing what we're doing here in Honduras, as well as other organizations around the world that are trying to bring family-based care to third world countries that are still relying on orphanages. And so foster care is for everyone. We all have a place. We can pray. I really encourage you to find a foster care organization in your local community so you can do some hands-on. I know there's some really beautiful programs now that you can help foster care teens learn how to drive. You can be the representative in court. Like, there's all kinds of things, little ways to get involved that don't take a lot of time, big ways to get involved that do take a lot of time, that aren't necessarily being the foster parent, if that's not what you feel like you could do in this space. But there is a place in this space. Pastors, we need to talk about it. We need to preach about it. Churches, we need to start and thrive in a foster care and orphan care ministry in our church. We're all called to it. It's not like, oh, that's for that church. The Lord calls us all to orphan care, as we know in James 1:29. And so we need to find our space. We need to find our space and fill it, because it takes community, it takes partnership. None of the work that's being supported here in Honduras could be happening without each and every one of those identifiers, we like to call them, the people that make this happen. And so truly believe foster care is for everyone. And I just encourage you, after this Foster Care Awareness Month, and I'm sure you've heard some stuff from all over, not just from Identity Mission, because it's a national celebration or a national awareness piece for this month. I just really encourage you to not let this fizzle out. You did the run, you did the thing, good, I did it, next year I'll come back. No, I encourage you to not let it fizzle out. To remember, that you can find your space and just pray and ask the Lord what that is. And so if you gave $25, thank you so much, $25 to register, you did the run, or you pretended to do the run, or your doggy did the run, whoever did it, we were so grateful. It was really just about the awareness. But there is going to be a winner, so make sure if you did the run, you have hashtag Run for Family on there. Jade's going to start looking for those today, and there's going to be a winner for all of those that registered and did the run. But that $25, I think you saw on some of the social media, Jade shared with you, our donor communications guru girl shared with you that $25 goes to support one foster child in foster care a month. So at the least, for your involvement the rest of the year, I want to ask you, would you do that every month? Would you say, I will support one foster child in foster care in Honduras for a month for the rest of the year at $25 a month? And our goal this year is to be able to receive 16 more children into foster care. Super prayerful. That's the capacity that we do have among our caseworkers to be able to do that. And we're just prayerful that we have enough families to be able to take those in. And we have the finances to do it as well. So that $25, it goes such a long way. Again, foster care is impactful because it's cost effective. We shared a little bit about how much more cost effective it is than running an orphanage. And it's about a third of the cost. And so that does go a long way. That $25 allows us, to have the caseworker over them and to do the rallying of the churches and the local community to support them, and then to support the foster family if they have some financial needs or extra needs for the child that they can't meet themselves. And so that $25 goes a long stinking way. And so you can be encouraged that is going to continue to make foster care impactful, that gift of $25 a month for the rest of this year. So at the least, I encourage you to get on there right now. Go to those links on our social media. I'll add something here so you know where you can go donate, and take that plunge to be the first step that you say, okay, I'm going to find my spot in foster care, in donating and supporting a child this year. And so we just appreciate you considering doing that, getting in there and doing it now, because we know life is busy. And you'll be able to see that impact through the rest of the year as you watch the stories that we share in your emails and on social media, and just know that you're just making such a big difference finding your place in foster care. And so thank you again for joining us for the Foster Care Awareness Month, for the 5K. We had so much fun, and we appreciate you a ton for reading all of this information and gaining awareness of what foster care is and is not.